Game day is just around the corner. Giants at Philly for the NFL divisional playoff round. So I want to ask you Giants fans this question. What is your number one key to victory versus Philly this Saturday? I'm going to give you 5 things I think they must do if they want to win, but I want to hear from you. Your number one key to victory versus Philly this Saturday. What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. As always, appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't yet, give this video a thumbs up for me. Let's freaking go. Show some love. Today's show, 5 things the Giants must do to beat the Eagles. With the game just around the corner, I wanted to focus strictly on keys to victory and what they have to do. And if they do these things, I truly believe that the Giants are going to leave this game victorious and get to advance to the NFC Championship. Let's start, though, with one thing that they must do. The must-dos to beat Philly. You got to stop the run game. You can't let Jalen Hurts. You can't let Miles Sanders just get loose on this offense. When you go back to the Week 14 matchup, the Giants had a problem stopping the run. Hurts did whatever he wanted. Miles Sanders did whatever he wanted. Even Boston frickin' Scott did whatever he wanted. If Boston Scott scores a touchdown this week, I'm going to be upset. F Boston Scott in the comments. Type that, and you're a real one. But look at the stats. In Week 14, when the Giants allowed 48 points to the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts had 7 carries for 77 yards and a rushing touchdown. He then got hurt, came back in Week 18, and he wasn't nearly the same effective player that he was. 9 carries for 13 yards, 0 rushing touchdowns. I don't know if the Giants more so found something that worked that game or he just wasn't trying to run the football, but holding him inside that little pocket and not letting him get loose is going to be critical. You also got to stop a guy like Miles Sanders, who's having the best year of his young NFL career. Almost 1,300 yards, 5 yards per pop, and 11 touchdowns on 260 carries this season. The guy is explosive. He's a really good running back. I don't want people to underestimate him. If he gets out in the open field, he can hit you with the deuce sign just like Saquon Barkley. Stopping him and Jalen Hurts on the ground are going to be key. And it's going to come down to your inside linebackers. That's what I think is going to be most important because you can't continue to just put all the pressure in the world on Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. You need guys like Jarrad Davis, who's a new member of this team, just signed off the Lions practice squad, who's a good run stopper. I don't want to talk about pass coverage. We saw what happened when he tried to do that against the Vikings. It didn't work out. But he's a great downhill linebacker, and the same can be said with a guy like Jalen Smith. Those two guys, they got to bring their hard hats this weekend. I'm also looking forward to seeing some Carter Coughlin and Landon Collins inside the box trying to help slow down that running game. We're going to get to 4 more things I think the Giants must do to win the football game. But first, if you want the Giants to beat the Eagles, subscribe to the channel. Sub for Giants Playoff Dubs, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. Just like you got to stop their run game, you got to establish the run. The Philadelphia Eagles have one of the best defenses in the NFL. But when you look at their rush defense specifically, they are in the bottom half of the NFL in that statistic. Whereas on the pass defense, they're number 1 pass defense in the NFL. They have the number 1 pass rush in the NFL. And I believe they give up the 3rd least amount of points per game. You got to get Saquon Barkley going. He's been the engine to this offense all season long. And maybe give him the ball more 9 times like he did against the Minnesota Vikings. Because this year, he was incredible. And then when you played the Eagles in Week 14, he didn't play well. He was a little bit banged up, didn't really have much running room, but you have to find a way to get him going. You can't let Saquon Barkley go for only 28 yards. He's got to bring the juice. He's got to be the guy that gets this offense going. But not just Saquon. At this point in the playoffs, you can rest when you're out. Daniel Jones needs to be a part of this run game because Nate Tice tweeted out that the Eagles have given up the 2nd most EPA to QB scrambles in the NFL this season, meaning they're essentially the 2nd worst team in the NFL at defending scrambles. 30.3 defensive success rate, which ranks 28 in scrambles, and then they have 33 scrambles this year, which is the 8th most this season. The Eagles' defense versus design QB runs, they've allowed 25 rushes, which is the 17th most, 28% success rate, which is 29th and 0.54 EPA per rush, which is 29. A lot of nerd numbers right there, but I say that to say this. They struggle against slowing down the QB run, and that's what you need this weekend from a guy like Daniel Jones, who had so much success against the Minnesota Vikings in that department. He rushed for 7 first downs against Minnesota. He really had over 80 rushing yards, but he had 4 knees to end the game. The dude is special, and he's got to put the team on his back this weekend. Jones and Barkley, they need to combine for over 200 rushing yards on Saturday if the Eagles want to take down the Birds. You got to slow down their pass rush too, and that's why I think, number 2, establishing the run game is so important. Because when you establish that run game, it doesn't just allow the defensive line to pin back their ears and do whatever they want. Because this defensive line, this pass rush for Philly, these numbers are scary, guys. They have 4 guys over 11 sacks this year, and Fletcher Cox, who might be the best out of all these guys, only had 7. Riddick is good. Hargrave's good. Graham's a Hall of Famer. Sweat is really good. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Evan Neal on that right side, trying to block a guy like Hassan Riddick and Josh Sweat. Andrew Thomas, I believe, is going to hold it down. It's going to come down to Evan Neal. It's going to come down to Mark Gowinski. I am very interested to see how this offensive line is going to be able to hold up. Look, if they don't hold up, we won't be talking about the Giants football in the regular season anymore. These guys have a lot of pressure on them to slow down the very, very talented Philadelphia Eagles pass rush. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Here at Chat Sports, I was our 5th employee hired about 2 years ago. Now we're up to 22 people in office, and we have hired excellent people from LinkedIn Jobs. Once you get hooked up, you then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions, making it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your jobs for free at LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily. That's LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. Shout out to LinkedIn Jobs for sponsoring Giants Now by Chat Sports. Another big key for me in must-dos to beat Philly, you have to find ways to create explosive plays this weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles, which the Giants had so much success against the Minnesota Vikings. Go back to the explosive play report, credit to Justin Pennick of Talkin' Giants, a really, really, really good Giants podcast on YouTube, and they also do audio podcasts only. The wild card win explosive playoff report. The Giants had 5 plays of 20-plus yards, which ties the season high with first Vikings game. They had 5 passes of 19-plus yards, 5 runs of 10-plus yards. They were 5 of 10 on big plays, or 5 of their 5 for 10 big plays came on first down, and they had so much yards after catch. You saw Darius Slayton catching those over routes and getting north and south. You saw the same with Isaiah Hodgins. Those guys, they got to do it again. And they've been solid, I would say, this season, but they got to take it up a notch. I need Darius Slayton to have a big play down the sideline, getting behind a guy like James Bradbury, who we've seen has been vulnerable to giving up big plays. Richie James, continue to do what you do on third down. Isaiah Hodgins, keep being great. Keep being that big slot receiver that wins on routes against the talented DBs that the Eagles are going to have. Daniel Bellinger, find ways to be effective. Continue to be a weapon in the red zone. But Slayton, I believe, is going to have a big play this Saturday that's going to change the momentum of the game. Maybe it's a play-action fake. Maybe they go back to that flea flicker that they once tried. Maybe they do a reverse pass and hit Slayton over the top. Maybe it's just a deep ball where Slayton burns somebody. I think Slayton is going to have a big game. I think he's going to come back after that drop he had on 3rd and 15 with his mind right this weekend and really try to make up for it, and I think he will with a big touchdown on a game-changing big play. Let's go, Slayton, the real big play Slay. You also, I know it's chalk. I know we say it all the time. You got to win the frickin' turnover battle. If you don't win the turnover battle, this weekend, your season's over. And that's as simple as I can say it. We'll show you the Giants' record when they win the turnover battle compared to losing in a second. But shout out to Anthony Rivardo of Fireside Giants, another great Giants YouTube podcast. He said, if the Giants win this Saturday, it will be because they win the turnover battle. The Eagles turned the ball over 9 times in their last 4 games. 9 turnovers in their last 4 games. They have developed a turnover problem. That sloppy play doesn't get you far in the playoffs, is what he said. And I completely agree. The Giants have to win the turnover battle. They're just a team that operates better when they're ahead of the sticks. And you do that by not having self-inflicted wounds, not having turnovers. When the Giants do not turn the football over this season, they're 6-2. 8 games this year. When they did not turn the football over, they were 6-2. When they won the turnover battle, they were 6-1. So what does that tell you? When you don't turn it over, or you win the turnover battle, you're going to win the football game. You know what this also tells me? When you lose the turnover battle, which the Giants did 6 times this year, they were 1-5 in those football games. 1-5 in those football games. You have to take care of the football. Daniel Jones, you're going to be under pressure. Your defensive line is great. Your offensive line is going to get beat. That's just the nature of playing a really good defensive line. Hold on to the football. Hold on to the football. Saquon Barkley, high and tight. Darius Slayton, catch it and tuck it. No fumbles on special teams. Take care of the football. Stop the run game. Establish the run game. Slow down the Eagles' pass rush. Create explosive plays and win the turnover battle. Those are my 5 must-dos if the Giants want to take down the Birds in Philly. This is going to be today's Real One roll call. If you're a real one, you know what I'm talking about. If you hate the Eagles, I need everyone to light up the comment section right now and just type F Philly. If you hate the Eagles, light up the comment section, type F Philly. Let's freaking go.